is up, YouTube? This is Trevor Pratt with a video, the first video of this channel. I'll be discussing the big debate around the NHL. Who's better, Crosby or McDavid? Recently, NHL ranked Connor McDavid the #1 center in the NHL with Crosby at #2. Not exactly what I would have picked, but I'm going to discuss 6 things here about both players. #1 will be face-offs, how they do in the face-off circle. #2 would be defense. 3 is offense, stats, the way they shoot, the way they pass. 4th will be the neutral zone, how they play in the neutral zone. 5th will be experience. We'll do like a first 2-year comparison. Leadership as well will come into play. And #6 will be how they perform in the playoffs. So first off, I just want to start this video saying that it's really hard to compare these two. I guess you could throw McDavid in the topic of discussion when it comes to who's better, but you cannot throw him in the discussion with who is greater all around. Who is the greater player? I think we all know that Sidney Crosby is, but instead of just saying and baffling, I will list off some things that I found in my research, things that I know about these players just from my experience in watching them. First off, we do have face-offs. Obviously, they're both centers, so that's huge. We got to focus on how they do in the face-off circle. The last 2 years combined, Connor McDavid averaged 42.3% in the face-off circle. So definitely not too bad. His second year was higher than his first year. His first year he was around 41%. Last year he was 43.18%. So that's a good number. Crosby over his career though is 51.3%. So that's 9% higher than what McDavid's done in his 2 years in the NHL combined. And last year, Crosby was at 48.17% on the face-off circle. So I don't think it's a debate there. I mean, obviously, Crosby's got the better numbers. He's the stronger guy. So you definitely trust him on the face-off circle. So that's easily a plus for Crosby over McDavid. Now, as we go into defense, you got to keep in mind that Sidney Crosby is a strong dude. I mean, yeah, you could say what you want about him selling calls, him backing away from fights, faking injuries, whatever you want to say about the guy, but the reality is he's strong. He's a strong guy on the puck. I just recently watched a video of him in Halifax. They were doing a little scrimmage or whatever, and they did an exercise in the offensive zone where it was 5-on-1, and Crosby was the one, and he had to protect the puck. Nobody took the puck from Sidney Crosby. He would go in the corner, spin around, protect the puck with one hand, and spin around again, take hits, and he still came out with the puck. This guy is incredibly strong on the puck, and I just figured I'd start off the defense with that. So, last year, this past season, 2016-2017, Connor McDavid finished 200th in the NHL in block shots with 29. So, not a lot going there. But now we have Sidney Crosby, who had 2 less block shots last year, came in 227th in the NHL in block shots. It's not very good numbers for either one of them, but then again, they do a lot away from just blocking shots in the defensive zone. This is where Crosby stands out huge against Connor McDavid. This is where Crosby shines way past McDavid in the defensive aspect. Last year, Sidney Crosby had 80 hits. 80 hits, 39 takeaways, but he also had 70 giveaways. McDavid, compared to Crosby's 80 hits, only had 34. That's a 46 hit difference. Obviously, he's not the biggest guy, even though he's put on 17 pounds since he's been in the NHL. He's getting there, but he just hasn't figured out that groove yet, being strong on the puck. He's definitely fast with the puck. He's the fastest player I've seen in the NHL with the puck. Once he gains the puck, he's the fastest, I think, in the NHL. It's insane what he can do with the puck. But this is where McDavid shines over Crosby. Crosby had 39 takeaways. McDavid had 76. That's a huge difference. And takeaways obviously are so important to the transition game in hockey. So that's real big in starting the offense. Not only that, but Crosby also had 16 more giveaways. Crosby had 70, McDavid had 54 giveaways. You can make a big debate on the defensive scale. I still think Sidney Crosby wins in the defensive aspect of the game. He's just much stronger. He's bigger. It's super hard to knock the guy off the puck and take the puck away from him. He dances through defenders. We've seen it. You can make a 20-minute YouTube video of him dancing around defenders. And you can make each little clip like 5 seconds long, and you still have room for more clips of what this guy does to defenders. So, but that mostly falls under the offensive aspect, which is what we're getting into now. Now, this is probably the harder topic to discover when you're debating who's better, Sidney Crosby or Connor McDavid, because they're both just so explosive on the offensive side of the game. Now, I'm going to say this. We'll start off with last season's stats. Okay, last season's stats. Sidney Crosby had 75 games played, 44 goals, 45 assists, 89 points. Keep in mind, he's 30 years old now. And that's still a really high total for 75 games played, especially with who he's playing with Kessel and Malkin taking up a lot of those points. It's incredible for him to do that. But, of course, this past season you did have Connor McDavid passing him with 82 games played, 30 goals, 70 assists, 100 points. He finished with 11 points more than Crosby and also had 7 more games played. So Sidney Crosby finished with a plus 17. McDavid finished with a plus 27. That's incredibly impressive for Connor McDavid to be pulling in these numbers. He's outshining Crosby in the offensive area, as far as stats go, of course. And then you could throw in that Crosby had 5 game-winning goals. McDavid had 6. So he has more stats all around. Now, we get to an interesting stat that I've collected. I thought it would be interesting to put it in this video, and that is when the player's on the ice, what percentage does the team have the puck? You know, how often is the team on the puck and have possession when that player's on the ice? And when Sidney Crosby is on the ice, his team, on average, possesses the puck 53.2% of the time. 50% or higher means that team had the puck more than the other team. So he's got 3.2% higher than the other team having the puck. And Connor McDavid finished with 53.8%, which is 0.6 higher than Crosby. All of the numbers that I just mentioned, McDavid finished higher, except for goals. That's it. Crosby had 44 goals, McDavid had 30, but he had 70 assists. What the kid does with the puck in the offensive zone is beautiful. The way he passes is just gorgeous. Crosby does the same thing. We know that. It's just a toss-up on who you'd want on your team offensively. I think probably Connor McDavid, just with the age, the age difference and the speed on the puck. Probably Connor McDavid, and his numbers don't lie. That being said, we still got to think Crosby in his career, 782 games played, 382 goals, 645 assists, and 1,027 points, as opposed to McDavid's 2 seasons in the NHL. So we got to give this kid time. This kid, he's not as strong as Crosby. We'll see if he can stay free of injury in this league. I know this league is incredibly brutal. It'll be hard for McDavid to stay healthy. It was hard for Crosby to stay healthy for a while with those concussions. But it's going to be interesting. Now, play in the neutral zone. I think that has a lot to do with the face-offs that I discussed. Crosby's the face-off guy. He's the one you want. When he wins those face-offs to center ice, they're so big to start the period, whether it's after the other team's goal or a Pittsburgh goal. He's on the ice. He gets the puck. He gets the job done on the face-off circle. They're both incredible with the transition game in the neutral zone. You can't really debate this one. They're both pretty much the same, except McDavid has more explosive speed through the neutral zone. That's about it. Now we can look at experience. This isn't a hard one to debate, obviously. So we're not going to go into the details of, oh, well, Crosby's been in the year for ages, blah, blah, blah. McDavid's only been in for 2 years. We're not going to debate that. What we're going to look at is we're going to look at the first 2-year comparison. Crosby's first 2 years compared to McDavid's first 2 years that just went past. Crosby started 05-06 and 06-07 came after. In those 2 seasons, he had 160 games played, 75 goals, 147 assists, 222 points. 222 points in your first 2 years as an NHL forward. That is incredible. He had 29 power play goals, 9 game-winning goals, 47.63 face-off percentage, 121 hits, 73 takeaways, and there's the stat that I don't like: 129 giveaways. He does usually have a lot more giveaways than takeaways. That's where McDavid shines over him. But look at those numbers. I mean, that's crazy for first 2 years in the NHL. Now we come to McDavid. These past 2 seasons, which were his first, 127 games played, 46 goals, 102 assists, 148 points. That's still fantastic for this day and age. The NHL has become more advanced, more difficult to score in. Goalies are becoming more elite. So that's definitely impressive. 6 power play goals, 11 game-winning goals. So that's more than Crosby had in his first 2 years. Of course, Crosby had 23 more power play goals than McDavid did in his first 2 years, and 120 points more. So there's that. Or not 120 points, I'm sorry. I was looking at assists. He still had a lot more, though. He still had 74 more points than Connor McDavid did in his first 2 seasons. 42.3 faceoff percentage. That's 5% less than Sidney Crosby in his first 2 years. Only 46 hits. That's the huge difference here. 75 more hits for Crosby in his first 2 years. Connor McDavid, 109 takeaways and 71 giveaways. So he's positive there, and that's where he outshines Crosby in their first 2 years. We can sit here with while we're on the experience topic, because this will play in perfect to my next topic, which is playoffs. Sidney Crosby has 3 Stanley Cups. 3 Stanley Cups, plenty of playoff appearances. He just won 2 Stanley Cups in a row and won playoff MVP both years. How can you even tell me that Connor McDavid should be ranked number 1 and Sidney Crosby number 2? Overall greatness, Crosby shines. I mean, yeah, McDavid probably has more fire in him because he's younger, but come on, let's give Crosby some respect here. Honestly, the years growing up, I picked Ovechkin over Crosby. I liked Ovechkin more, but I'm a hockey fan. I'm a true hockey fan. I know where talent lies. Sidney Crosby's number 1 in the NHL. Come on now. It's a hard comparison. It's almost like there is no comparison because there can't be. There's just too much experience there. Playoff performance, Crosby in the playoffs last year. 24 games played, 8 goals, 19 assists, 27 points. And he tallied 46 points in the last 2 years in the playoffs. 46, that's incredible. That's a lot of points. McDavid, in this past season, it's the only year he made the playoffs. He's only been in for 2 years, and Edmonton sucked. We know that. McDavid, 13 games played, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. So not as impressive. He didn't average more points than he did games like Crosby did. In Crosby's career, he's got 148 playoff games. Unbelievable, this guy. 148 playoff games. He's got 57 goals, 107 assists, and 164 points in the playoffs. 2 MVPs in a row these past 2 years. 2 cups in a row. The guy, that's the last topic that I had to cover. What I take away from this is both players are incredibly talented. Incredibly talented. These are the 2 best players in the world right now. There's no doubt about it. But we cannot say that Connor McDavid deserves the number 1 spot. The stats don't lie. The experience definitely doesn't lie. The strength, obviously McDavid has the speed, but the strength of Crosby, the experience, the playoff numbers, what he does in the face-off circle, what he does in the defensive zone, how he hits. It's just, I don't think there's really a comparison there. When you put it down on paper, it comes more to life. When you think about it, it's like, whoa, that's a toss-up. But when you put it down on paper, you do the real research, you think about it, Crosby's the number 1. So that wraps up that video. I'm also excited to announce that my good friend Joe D'Angelo made me the co-host of the Thunder Striker show as an analyst. That's awesome. Get to talk Lightning hockey, NHL hockey, break down the season coming up. I'm super excited to be with Joe on this show and other guests. That wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. Feedback, any tips, how you feel about the Crosby versus McDavid debate going on around the NHL. And not only that, but leave some ideas for me for future videos. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See ya.